It's real. It's real. You know the deal. You know the deal. Come on.
Hey, it's Shanté.
And I'm Natalie, and welcome to What's the Deal, a podcast powered by the Norfus Firm. At the Norfus Firm, we solve people problems. We work with employers all around the world on diversity, equity, inclusion, and HR strategies. This podcast focuses on a leader's role in DEI. Now, we're back for a little special segment here. We did a 3-part series on burnout and realized that we left out some really important information. I will call this a practice what you preach moment, because we do that. And so, in that 3-part series, we talked about what burnout looks like, yes. Right? And that starts to evolve when the effort you're putting into your work doesn't match the reward,
right.
Short. We looked at the importance of a leader stopping and doing their own self-discovery and self-work so that they understand where they fit. And then we worked on, and spoke about once you can identify burnout in yourself and then your teams, taking a pause, not stopping, but to better understand and reset expectations.
Right.
Not only around DEI efforts, but work generally.
Right.
So I was thinking, but oh my gosh, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So first things first, we were experiencing as a team some burnout. How did we know we were feeling burnt out?
It almost took us out. That's how we knew. It was really, we would go, we tend to burn the candle at both ends, and that's not sustainable.
Right.
We go really, really hard. We're very passionate and energized by this work, but sometimes too much so. And so, we found ourselves just dragging. The work wasn't as exciting as it normally is. You drag a little bit, you get tired. You weren't as connected to it, maybe a little more snippy than we normally would be around things.
The funniest, I gotta tell this story. And I think to your point, I think part of the reason why we weren't as energized is because we had piled on too many things.
Yeah.
So it was we're dealing with really complex people issues, and people issues can be really heavy emotionally.
Yes.
You're holding space for a lot of that. We love for stuff to be right. So we spend a lot of time on, the small details. So there's no client was going to get shorted of those things. But we went to Southern California, and we had 4 trainings. We were delivering 2, and we had 2 other trainings to prepare for in the same week, right? So It was oh my gosh, we're sitting in a hotel lobby at 11 at night, doing drafts of trainings, and it's time to go home. We're at LAX, and you, who I swear are the most patient person I've ever met, have the best energy, is you're just propelling yourself. She's dragging her bag through the airport.
Not even caring.
And she's I'm really sorry if my energy's lower. And I'm just don't quit. But I think that was probably, what I look at that is that was just the sort of end result of something that had been building.
Right.
And I remember that for me, I was sitting, I took my son on spring break, and we stayed in the mountains of Puerto Rico, which I couldn't recommend more. Just absolutely out of this world in terms of just being with nature. And it was really a moment where I had to pause and say, we are constantly so busy. And what were my whys? I sat out, and I was listening to trees ruffle and the coquilles talking to each other. And I was just what's my why? Why did I start this business initially? And what it came down to for me was twofold. One, I felt I had hit, glass ceilings, which a lot of us feel in corporate America, and there was so much more I could do with my talent. I felt really confident that there was more I could do there. And so I wanted to give myself that opportunity. And then the second piece was more flexibility in my time so I could be more present for my son.
Right.
And so when we're getting to the point where, I'm picking him up from school, and I'm still on calls, which is not something that I enjoy. I want to be able to pick him up and have chats with him.
Yeah.
And that's becoming more common, then I'm getting away from at least one of my whys. So in March, we said, okay, we're going to pause in the summer and really try to get this together. So when we think about our pause,
right,
the approach we took was twofold. One, I have a financial coach because coaches need coaches. And shout out to Jackette Timmons, because she is absolutely amazing. But in talking to Jackette, actually over a year ago, we had started talking about, we wanted to have a little bit more accountability with our clients, because part of what led us to burnout was we were going like 150% with clients who were maybe ready to go at like 50% energy. We were not matching energy as
at
folks
all.
say.
And it's so important in this work because it will drain you.
Right.
It will.
Exactly.
If people aren't ready to do what needs to be done and you're all in, it doesn't match. It doesn't fit.
So a year ago, wasn't ready for the message then, right? Jackette said, while you're focusing on return on investment, make sure you're also focusing on return on energy.
I love that.
She was kind enough to remind me of that about 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, a couple months ago, who knows, in pandemic time, but sometime in the past 90 days.
Right.
And it was like mind blowing, because that's what we were dealing with, energy depletion.
Right.
And so what we did in our pause was first focus on all of the services that we provide or can provide.
Right.
And that was the first phase, right? Like what's out there in terms of our work. And then we did a second phase where we went through our loves. What do we love to do? We had to keep it PG. If you ever do this exercise, keep it PG, because we don't need to know what folks like to do at home behind closed doors. But we were really just focusing on the PG loves.
We're still at work, so
yeah. PG loves.
Keep it appropriate.
And then we started to align the things we love to do with the work that we do.
Right.
And then we did a return on energy exercise, and you want to talk about
Yeah, because I love this concept because I love the energy part. That's me all day, every day. And so in looking at this list that we came up with, we wanted to figure out, we came up with a system that said, okay, these types of activities really energize us. We love doing them. It doesn't really feel like work. We actually get excited to do them. And you have other activities where you're like, okay, you're indifferent to them. Like I could do them, I could not do them. I don't get that fulfillment, that joy, that charge when I do these activities or these exercises, but I don't hate them, right? And then we had stuff on that list where it was like, oh God, please get someone else. I can't hire someone else because I'm not the one to do this at all. And in fact, you don't want me to do this because it won't be good. It won't be the best product as some of the other things. And so we came up with a system to codify it. And then we went through and individually assigned the value to whatever thing we were talking about. And some things, a lot of the things aligned for us and the team. And there's some things that others felt better about than someone else. And so what's great about that is, again, if we talk about capacity planning, work planning, all those things, you know who to assign what to. Right. Because you know that they're going to be really into that work and it's going to just feel better for them. And so the energy part, and it highlighted for us, okay, as we're moving and transitioning and growing, what do we really want to call in?
Exactly.
Right? Because we can take anything. It's the fire hose.
It's
right?
Resetting our North Star.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You have to be intentional.
Exactly. So we had to do that because we talk about authenticity, and it would be not like us if we didn't talk about our own. Right. I mean, we certainly have our moments here as well. So I guess we'll call this part 3A, 3.84. Okay, just a little special insert.
An addendum?
An addendum, yeah. So as always, we're going to keep moving in on these leadership issues, and stay tuned for more. Come back. We'll see you soon.
Bye.